When you visit a site using a normal browser, it's usually easy to understand where and what the different sections are because of the layout and design of the site. Menus, content, sidebars, footers, and so on are all clearly separated and defined. When you visit the same site using a text-to-speech or a text-only browser, the experience is completely different. You no longer have visual cues as to where the section begins and ends, and you don't necessarily know what they're for. To fix this, we can add section headings and descriptions that are only visible or hearable when you're using a non-visual browser. These headings and descriptions can then provide more information about the different sections. The reason why you want to add section headings is to provide information about each section for the non-visual browsers, so text-only or text-to-speech browsers. The accessibility benefit is obvious. These section headings define and explain separate sections, providing additional information to the person visiting the site. The SEO benefit is more hidden. By adding this information in, the search engines can see what content is on the page and also what sections are defined, so that it understands the content more easily. Because though the primary focus of the search engines and social networks is to index just the title and description tags, they also read the rest of the page, and adding these section headings will give the search engine further information about what's on the page. Adding and hiding section headings is a two-step process. First, we go into the HTML page itself and add a section heading. So I'll scroll down here to header navigation, and then I'll add a section heading here. So I'll say H1, because this is a heading, and then I'll end my H1 just so that it's nice and clean. And then in here, I will say main menu. So now I have a heading that says main menu, so you can see that this is the main menu. I'll also add a class to this so that I can style it. So I'll say class, and I'll call it section heading. If I save this now and open the page in my browser, you'll see we now have a section heading here for main menu. The problem is, as I did that, I broke the layout of my site because now the menu shifted down and everything looks weird. The next step is to hide this heading so it only appears if we turn the CSS off. There are several ways you can hide content from a browser using CSS. But in this case, I don't really want to hide it from the browser. I just want to hide it from the person looking at the content in the browser. So instead of setting the display value to none, which means the text simply disappears and the browser can't see it, I want to take the text out of the context and shift it away from my screen so I can't see it. So we'll use absolute positioning to lift the text out of the stream of the rest of the content, and then use a text indent to shift it all the way off to the left of the screen. To do this, I'll open the styles.css file in Notepad, and I'll go down until I find my global styles. And here at the very top, I'll add a new style for that class I just created. So I'll say class section heading. And then first, I'll set the position to absolute. And I'll just close this. If I save this and reload the page, you'll see that now main menu has been taken out of the general stream of the content and just put all the way to the left. Now what I want to do is take the text and shift it so far to the left that you'll never see it no matter how big your screen is. So I'll go back, I'll add another line, and then I'll say text indent. And then I'll indent it minus 9,999 pixels. That means the text will be indented 9,999 pixels to the left of where it normally is, which means only if you had a screen that had 10,000 pixels of extra space to the left would you ever see the text. When I save this and reload the page, you'll see main menu is gone, but if I go into CSS and disable styles, main menu is right there. That means if someone is visiting the site using a text-only browser or a text-to-speech browser, they will see the section heading for the main menu. But if they're using a regular browser that shows CSS, they don't see it. That was the section heading. We can also go further by adding another section like a description and simply add that same style to it, and then that will be shifted off too. So we could go in to our HTML file, create a new div with the same class, call it section heading, and then write some text. Now when I save that, go back and reload, you'll see nothing changed when I'm viewing it with CSS, but when I disable the styles, we now also have the description. By adding and hiding section headings and descriptions, you make it easier for people and search engines to navigate and understand your site without adding extra unnecessary content for those who have standard visual browsers.